And we are back. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed. I'm your host, Nicole Perry, and my guest is Elaine Vakalopoulos. And you don't have to wish you knew her. And this is why I played this song by the Revivalists. You can revive your career if you want to make a big shift.
You bet.
Right?
You're right.
And it doesn't necessarily, so you have to have assets, you got to have good credit.
Yes.
I mean, this is not for everybody.
It is not for everybody. And actually, that's part of the process. And it's
discovering who it's for.
Right. I mean, I welcome anyone to call who's just thinking about it and wants to know, is this for me? And if it's not for you, that's perfectly fine.
If you had to give it a percent, are the majority of the people coming to you before retirement or because they're about to retire?
Yeah, it's I don't think I could do percentages because it's
maybe 50-50. It really depends.
The sweet spot is 45 to 65 years old.
Ah, the sweet spot. Right? I love that.
So you have a lot of folks, though, that are in their 50s that have been transited out.
Yeah.
Right? Or expected to. So they start to look because they want to know what their next step is going to be. But we have young folks in their 40s that are still in their jobs that are looking to build something on the side, for retirement. You have those that are expecting the X, so just want to build something or are ready to just launch. I have a fellow locally who's quitting his C-level job with a huge IT company because he said, I'm done working for these people this much. I want to do something on my own. I still have a lot in me. So he's working diligently.
Forgive me, what is a C-level?
Oh, it's just like an executive level.
Okay.
You know, someone in the big chair.
Okay.
Right? CEO, COO, CIO, chief of something.
Oh, the C. Okay. Right. Chief of something. I love it.
And then you have your retirees. I have a fellow in Fort Bragg. Right now, he's a retired sergeant major. We love working with vets. Veterans get discounts.
Oh.
So we have a retired sergeant major who's down in Fayetteville, and he's looking to build a legacy for his family, to leave something behind.
Yeah. Now, who's an example of somebody that you're helping today?
Okay. So let's say I just mentioned my candidate down there. Then we have the fellow up here. There's a young man who also, he's kind of bored in his job at a financial services company. It's just not his personality and he wants to do something else. So he told his boss that he's buying a franchise and he wants to wane his time part-time so that he can then concentrate on his franchise full-time. But it really just, I have so many that lately on my desk have been the people who want to do something on the side. Other times it's people who just want to do it full-time.
And the people that are about to get the axe, how do they even know?
GE has announced that they're letting go of hundreds of people. Like those are, it's out there.
Yeah.
And it's hard for the 50-year-olds to replace their income. They're not being hired. So it's a perfect alternate.
So what are the typical first questions? Because I can imagine that you kind of giggle a little bit because it's you get a lot of the same questions in the beginning.
Right.
Like what's hot?
Exactly.
Like that's not what it's about.
It's not
you
about
have
that.
to fit the personality.
Yes, you've got that. And you're like, oh, what's hot? Or what would you show me? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know you yet.
So do they fill out a questionnaire before that very first phone call?
No.
First
Usually we have
phone call.
they have to get to know me too a little bit. They don't know who I am, right? I'm a voice on the phone.
Yep.
So after that first call where I kind of give them a lowdown, a little bit about who I am, what I do, and an overview of the industry, then they start to get a sense for, okay, she knows what she's talking about.
Okay.
So I direct them to my website.
She's an MIT gal. Now, what's a misunderstanding about franchises?
Okay, this is a good one. Just because it's a franchise, it doesn't mean that you put up a sign and people will come. It doesn't always mean that it will succeed, and it doesn't mean that it won't fail because you still have to work it.
And it doesn't mean that it's going to have to be a McDonald's.
Oh my God! Right? People
or
have
a restaurant.
Right.
That's kind of what's
people always think food first, and there's so many more options from A to W, Nicole. Automotive, to children's, to fitness, to printing, to anything for home services,
teaching,
B2B, teaching, window washing, you name it. Literally A to W.
Wow. So 3,000 plus companies.
At least. And then there's about 70 categories, like I mentioned a few of them just now. And, how does someone sift out? Like in the senior care business, there are probably 42 companies in that sector right now. All of them pretty much do the same, but many of them have no territories left. Many of them are wannabes. Many of them don't have the strength behind them, or maybe the ownership, the franchise founders, don't have enough forward thinking to, get ready.
Now, what is a side seat driver? Because this is really what you're doing.
That's my language. That's a term.
I love the term.
That's a term I use to just let someone know that they're still driving. This is their bus. This is their journey. I'm just there to make sure they stay on track to the goals that they told me that they are interested in establishing and keeping to, and just keeping them on pace. Because a lot of people lose their fire. They lose steam. Or you've gone to the Thanksgiving, dinners when Uncle Harry goes, "What are you thinking?" You fool, they just want your money. Sorry, it happens. It happens in real estate too.
And then they lose steam after that.
And they're like, oh no, then they lose confidence.
Oh my God, don't let other people steer you from your heart's desire. You really, as a human being, you got to be able to filter through the good advice from the bad. Every day.
It starts from in here.
Every day you have to do that. Now, so what are the weaker links? What would be a weaker link? And I found this fascinating that you had a gentleman who had narrowed it down to 3 companies all the way to the finish line.
All the way to the finish line.
So here's fascinating.
So that's unusual, because usually, like with me, when I had my 3 companies, I went to a certain point and then I said, okay, no.
Yeah.
Right. This guy, he loved all 3 companies though. So I did a good matching job, like almost too good. But so he said, no, I'm going to look them all 3. So the first one, he went to the headquarters in California in June. They were ready to award him a franchise. He said, I'm not sure. My wife and I just aren't sure. He really had his sights set on the second one. He flew to Washington State for that one. But after he came home, they said they didn't think he was a good fit. And the third one, he's still looking at.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, award. We're going to talk about that later, because you are awarded a franchise. They don't just give it to anybody.
No.
So they're interviewing you just as much as you're interviewing them through the process.
You got that right. It's a win-win. Because if they don't hire...
Because they're investing in you and you're investing in them.
It's like a recruiter hiring an employee, right? They're looking for a long-term relationship with you. And if you don't succeed, they don't succeed. They don't make the money off the franchise fee. That's not how franchises have sustainability. It's the royalties. And if you're a successful franchisee...
long term. They make the money off of the long term. Okay.
And if a failure happens, that failure is a blemish on their franchise disclosure document that everyone reads for a long time. They don't want those blemishes.
Okay. All right. Well, we only have about a minute left. So what do we really need to know about deciding when it comes down to making that final decision?
So if you have all of the information, if you've done all of your due diligence on each of the companies...
Which you're helping them do anyway.
Well, right. I mean, I definitely provide resources along the way. I don't leave them, hey, there you go, have fun. No, I mean, I want to make sure that they're also getting the information that they need from the companies. So I'm a sounding board, right? But what ultimately has to happen is you have to decide, is this a fit for you? Do you feel like these people behind the scenes are your peeps, right? They're the ones that are going to have your back and support you for the long term. And are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with that role that has been described to you? This is where your heart comes in, but in the end, it's down to it's the brain. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you stay with us. We got to go to break. You can go to yourfranchiseoptions.com to connect with Elaine. I'm your host, Nicole Perry. You're listening to Powerful Women Revealed right here on 95.9 WATD.